What did your mother-in-law do to ruin your wedding? Our wedding was this past weekend. Smallish, about 90 people, a mix of family and close friends. The ceremony itself was beautiful, exactly how I had pictured it. The music was perfect. The vows went smoothly, and for a little while I thought, this really is going to be one of the happiest days of my life. Then came the reception. And surprise, surprise, the problems came courtesy of my mother-in-law. She made her grand entrance into chaos by literally grabbing the mic from the DJ. I'm not exaggerating. He was mid-song when she swooped in, snatched it out of his hand, and announced that she had something important to say. The poor DJ just stood there frozen, like, do I wrestle it back or let this woman go? What followed was this long, drawn-out speech about how she raised her son, how she was losing him and gaining me. Except the tone made it sound less like she was welcoming me into the family and more like she was being forced to hand him over against her will. Then she started crying. Big, dramatic tears, hand to chest, the whole performance. Everyone clapped because they didn't know what else to do, but it was that awkward, polite clapping you hear when people are embarrassed for someone. And she didn't stop there. The rest of the night, she hovered like a storm cloud. Whenever I tried to talk to friends, she would slide right into the group and redirect the conversation back to herself or her son. If we were dancing, she would physically try to cut in, reaching for him like I was somehow in the way. At one point, she told me, not joking but dead serious, that I was being selfish for sharing the first dance with my husband before she had her mother-son moment. I laughed out of sheer disbelief, but she doubled down and repeated it like I had stolen something from her. The tipping point came during dinner. Guests were finally settling in, chatting, enjoying their food, when she suddenly decided she didn't like where the staff had set the cake table. Without asking anyone, she started trying to drag the entire thing across the room. A 3-tier cake, glass stand, flowers, decorations. She nearly tipped the whole thing over while people sat there watching in stunned silence. I had to run over and physically stop her before disaster struck. My guests looked horrified, some whispering, others pretending not to notice. I wanted to sink through the floor. By then, I was done, completely drained. I had spent hours plastering on a smile, swallowing my frustration, and trying not to cause a scene on what was supposed to be our day, but I couldn't anymore. I slipped away to the bridal suite, shut the door, and just sat there for 20 minutes breathing, trying to collect myself. I didn't cry. I was too angry to cry. I just sat there thinking, how did my wedding become the mother-in-law show? To his credit, my husband backed me up. When I told him what happened, he confronted her and asked her to stop inserting herself into everything. I know that wasn't easy for him, but I was so grateful he didn't brush it off or expect me to just keep the peace. Still, his relatives have been whispering that I was dramatic for stepping away from the reception, that his mom was just emotional, and I should have been more understanding. But here's the thing, it wasn't emotion. It wasn't nerves. It was blatant attention-seeking and a total lack of respect for boundaries. She hijacked the microphone, shoved herself into every conversation, nearly destroyed the cake, and somehow I'm the one being called dramatic. Instead of remembering my wedding as a joyful blur of laughter and dancing, I'll always remember the moment I had to stop my mother-in-law from toppling a cake in front of 90 people. And I'll remember hiding in the bridal suite, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't stand one more minute of watching her turn the spotlight on herself. So yeah, I'm pissed, because it wasn't her day, it was mine, and she made damn sure everyone would remember her role in it, whether I liked it or not.